So, if you remember, I also downloaded a bank, and it's over here. Unfortunately, my bank is very ugly. It doesn't really make a nice presentable as like the credit card. So we're gonna have to do a little bit more manual work on this one. But again, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come over here, and we're gonna pull these columns over. Oops, I gotta move over a little bit. The sales, all this. And we're gonna dump it right there. Okay. So, oops, actually, let's not do that. Let's go up one. Put it right here. Okay. All right. So, again, this one's pretty ugly, but you can see here's a deposit. Okay. So deposit is gonna be sales, unless it's a loan. Once I put money in myself, which I didn't, all deposits should be sales. So here we go. We got our ACH deposit, and we got this debit here. Now this is where it gets messy. On my bank, it has awful descriptions. So I had to actually kind of go over, and I had to pull up my credit card, or not my credit card, but my bank statement at the same time. And I gotta look at that. You know, I don't see it. What happened? I must have closed it. So we go back and log in. All right, so I just want to download a statement. Let's just save it. Okay. Now I'm going to just push this over the screen so you really can't see it. But if when you're doing it, you either put this on another screen, or you just print the thing out and have it by your hand so you can determine the activity. So let's go back to our spreadsheet. Okay, so this right here is a debit, so it's a check, and I've kind of come over here, I can tell based on my bank statement, it's payroll. So I'm going to come over here. I know you can't see it from the screen, but I had to print out my bank statement in order to do this. So I actually got two things I'm looking at. All right, the next one here, this one here is also payroll. So I'm gonna come over here, hit the payroll column. I apologize, there's no description, but that's how the bank is. This one here is also payroll. And then this one here is also payroll. Give me 1 second here. I'm just verifying what this number is. Aha, that's not payroll. I didn't think it was. That is actually a credit card payment. So I'm going to delete that, come over here, and that's my credit card, my Chase. That one's fine, fine, fine. 90 bucks. And there's a deposit, so that's revenue. 200 withdraw, that's my Bank of America credit card. $17 is okay, that's a credit card fee. So I actually want to add a column here. and merchant process fee or credit card fees. Alright, and $15. I go to my bank statement is credit card fees. Oops. So same process, whether it's a credit card or bank account. All we're doing here is recording our expenses and revenue. These are deposits, so these are revenue. $68. That's a credit card transaction. I get a lot of those. $23.50. That's a deposit. Deposit. Check. That is actually the cleaning lady. Now we're just going to hit that office for simplicity. Alrighty. There's a deposit. So obviously there's a little bit of work when you want to do this way, but you're trying to save money from having an accountant do it. I would recommend having your accountant do this for you. You might have to do all this, but the point of this is you're doing two things. You're kind of making a really rough profit and loss, and you're going through every single one of your transactions so you know where your money's been, or where it went, where it came in. And when we're done here, you'll kind of get an idea. And then we're going to pull the credit card over and kind of put them next to each other, and you'll have a really rough profit and loss statement. So I'm going to pause it here, get a bunch of transactions done, and then come back. All right, so here we got a transaction. It's a check for $86. When I went and looked, that's Kohl's. Now that's actually personal. I bought something and I actually paid for it out of my business account. So that's going to go to a column called distributions. So I'm going to click on that one. All right, right here we got $439.32. That is my car payment. So that one here, we're going to go over to the loan payment column right here and bring that one over. Notice I didn't hit it to auto expense because that's my car loan. Okay, so I skipped a lot of this to kind of get it, speed up the process so I wouldn't bore the crap out of you. All right, so now we're down to the last handful of transactions. This one here is a payroll expense. So I'm going to come over here and hit payroll. That one is also payroll. And so is the one below it. This one here is an advertisement expense. $54 is a bank fee, credit card fee, processing fee. And the $45 is a sale. Okay. So now we're going to kind of do what we did in the last one. We're going to sum all this stuff up. All right, so this is my revenue, almost 25 grand, and then we're just going to copy that over. Copy. And paste. All right, and let's just save this for now. Okay, so we added up all the stuff, all the bank activity. So if you got more than one bank account, you got to do this more than one. So the moral of the story is have one bank account, make your life a lot easier. Now, I'm going to pull the credit card information over. Now, I had to make a few changes in the column, so it's not going to line up perfectly, but it's going to be pretty darn close. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to pull. Here's the credit card, the Amex that we looked at before. I'm going to copy the headers and bring them back over to the spreadsheet. And I'm going to post it right here. Actually, I'm going to post it right there. Okay, so they're going to be a little bit different. But I'm also going to come back here. I'm going to pull the actual numbers, the totals. Control copy. And come back over here. Now the key here is when I paste it now, I'm going to go paste special. And formulas is values. Otherwise, it just brings over the formula and not the actual numbers in there. So you can see these don't line up perfectly, but we're just going to kind of go through it and fix it. All right. So here's my advertising expense. So underneath advertising here, I'm going to put in the 3754.34. Auto expense. Credit card is 0, loan 0, internet is all the way over here. It's 91.95. Meals entertainment, 28.48. Payroll. There's no payroll tax on the credit card. Phone. Postage. Professional. Office supplies. Rent. And utilities. Alrighty. So now we're just going to add these up. And we're going to copy this. And then here's your sales. Let's bring that number down. Okay. So you've basically got now is a very crude profit and loss statement. Here's your revenue. Let's do this, make it a little bit easier to read. There's your revenue. This is what you pulled out in distributions. That's your advertising expense. There's your auto expense, credit cards that you paid. Now this is where it gets a little tricky because this is not really an expense, is what you paid. So that's actually double counting, but we're going to go over that a little bit later in this segment. Okay, so here's your sales. Here's the money you would put in the company if you needed to. Here's what you pulled out. Now it gets a little tricky here. I mean, here's your advertising expense. Here's your auto expense. Here's your credit cards. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Now, we actually, if we leave this number here with double expense on our credit card, because we downloaded our credit card and we already kind of categorized it out. So the reality is I want to remove that number because otherwise we're double counting your credit card payments or credit card expenses. Because the little difference is this is what you charged on this line when we download those transactions, and this is what you paid. So they're actually already accounted for through this download. So we're going to remove that number. Credit card fees, loan payments. That one again gets a little tricky, but we're going to leave it here for this example. There's your insurance expense, internet, meals, entertainment. That's your payroll for the month. There's your payroll taxes. That's your phone. There's your postage, professional development, office supplies, the rent, and utilities. Software. I missed software here. Okay. So it looks like if I run a math on this, we're gonna actually lose money for for the month. Here's your revenue, 24951.36. And I'm going to sum up all your expenses here. So I'm going to take this one out. So we brought in this number here and we spent that. So that's what we ended up doing for the month of December. We lost money. And it's just the seasonality of my business. That does happen. And part of it is because we bought the software for tax season, which is a big number. That was about almost $5,000 worth of software that we would never, we don't need. And technically that would be capitalized and then later expense. But this is a great tool for you if you're not getting your profit and loss done professionally or you're getting your general ledger. This is one way you can go through and do this. Now, on this thing here, I'm showing about 29 minutes to do both of these statements. So you spend about a half hour doing this over a month. A little more time than you'd want to spend if you're having someone do your books and you're paying $250, $300 a month. They would give you a general ledger and take you about 10 minutes. So you're trying to save money here. This is the one way you can do it. It's kind of crude, but it gives you an idea where your money went. Even like loan payments aren't necessarily expense in your P&L, but you're getting an idea of the money that went out of your business and the money that came into your business. And that's the key. You went through every single transaction and you get the feel for all your details. Again, it's a cruder way of doing it, but it's an effective way to do it. Now, the other thing we recommend people do this for is, say you're like a one-man operation, you're an independent contractor, you can do this all at once for an entire year. You're not going to have nearly as many transactions as I have because I have several employees. And you can probably knock this thing out in an hour. And your accountant would probably charge you $1,000 to $2,000 to $3,000 to compile this for you. So this is a way you can save some money if you want to do this on an annual basis. And then you would just hand over the spreadsheet to your accountant and they can do your tax return. And you got everything all summed up for them. Again, the main point of this exercise, though, is not to save money on your accounting, is for you to kind of go through every single one of your transactions and learn what happened in your business. Hey, I hope you like this thing. Please give me feedback. I know I kind of went kind of fast and went through a lot of this, but just about every bank now will offer you some sort of download. And all you do is put your columns up here. Everyone's got a little bit different on their columns, of your categories of your expenses, and you just kind of map it out like this. You do some sums, and boom, you got yourself a really crude profit and loss statement, but you know, and you spent the time to kind of go through all your transactions and know where everything's at.